be scared now, dry your eyes. It may feel so real.
Hello, my name's Joshua French. This is chapter 4 of the Forgotten Game video book. This is all about the tips of ways in different areas of your life that might be more difficult to play the game. This is some tips on how to make it easier. Work. So let's say, for example, that you are in a job that you really don't want to do, and there are other jobs that you do want to do, but you're in this one. You're in this job. You hate it. Well, every time you think of this other job, does that feel good? If it feels good, then yeah, that's a little bit of intuition guiding you towards maybe moving towards that job. And yeah, it might be scary to quit your job and do that, but it doesn't mean that at this moment you can't enjoy the fantasy of it. And when you're at home, you know, get a big piece of paper and start to plan out all the details of the job that you'd really like. And if it's fun, then you're playing the game, and that's fine. Just focus on that, and then maybe do a little step towards that. There might be one little thing you can do today that moves you just a tiny bit closer to that job. Okay, so that's an idea. If you're feeling stuck, start to really enjoy the imagined reality of the future, and you'll see that inspiration can start to flow when you start to enjoy that imagined reality. Another thing about work, let's say there are colleagues around you that you just can't bear, you really don't want to work with them, and they make it really difficult for you. Now, if you go into work with that attitude, it's very hard to play the forgotten game and enjoy different things, because the overriding thing is, I don't like that person, I don't like that person, they're annoying me, they're irritating me, or they're intimidating me. But what you can do is prepare yourself by making a list at home of all the things about that colleague that you do like. Maybe it's difficult, but you can do it. Well, at least they're confident. You know, they stand up for themselves. They get things done. They're nice. They're not doing me any harm. Things like that. And then when you're armed with those and you've got them in your mind, when you have those interactions with people, you can try and bring those up a bit more, so that you're actually still playing the game, you're enjoying those aspects of that person when you're with them. And people do respond really well to that. Subconsciously, people know that you are enjoying something about them. And it's very interesting when you watch how people start to behave a lot more positively around you in that situation. Another thing about jobs is, if you feel it's pointless, let's say, for example, I used to work in a call centre, and I didn't really like working there. I was doing it just because I was trying to do another job, but I had a choice. I could either go into this job in a call centre and think, I don't want to do this, this is pointless, and that would be radiating out of me. Or I could think, well, this is what I'm doing at the moment, but there must be something that I can enjoy about this, because I can't play the game if I'm sat here hating it. So I'm going to reframe it to find something. Actually, in a call centre, I'm interacting with loads of people on a phone all day. Every time I have an interaction with them, I really enjoy it when we have a laugh, or when I feel that there's been a connection between us. And it's possible, it is possible to come away from each conversation feeling more uplifted, and then they would feel more uplifted as well, and then that would spread out into the world, this positivity. So yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make an effort, not an effort, I'm going to naturally be my joyful self, and whatever job I'm doing, that will influence the world really positively. So there's some ideas about work. And school. So you might be a child or a teenager watching this, or you might have children or teenagers that you could give advice to. But yes, there are going to be lessons that they don't enjoy. And yes, they have to sit for an hour or longer in that lesson, and they have to get through it. But that's a really good opportunity for them to practice playing the forgotten game. That list I talked about in chapter 1, you know, something you're comfortable. There's an absence of thirst, there's an absence of hunger. Look at that sky out there, that's nice to look at. Oh, I like being in the classroom with that person. Or I'm not in any pain at the moment. All these sorts of things. There's a long, long list of things to choose all the time to get you in a happier place. And lessons that bore you are a good opportunity to do that. And you can find that when you are in a more at peace and non-resistant and happy place, that things in the lessons suddenly start to become more interesting than you first thought. And then let's move to the things that you do enjoy. There are certain strengths that every person has, that they're drawn towards, be it a love of learning, you're curious about new things, or be it physical, you love physical activity, or creative expression of something. Now, really go for it. Don't listen to what your parents want you to do. Don't listen to what your teachers want you to do. Throw your heart and soul into those subjects and see what other out-of-school clubs you can do, and just to get yourself practiced as much as possible in those particular areas, whatever they are, and enjoy and give yourselves permission to do it as much as possible, because the more you do it, the more energized you will be, and the better you will get at it, and the more you will just, the average of your day will not be, oh, this is awful, this is awful, this is awful, this is awful, oh, that was all right, and this is awful. It's like, oh, this is great, this is great, it's great, and now I have this bit that I'm going to play a little game when I'm doing it, and then, oh yeah, and then I'm going to go to my after-school club, and I'm really looking forward to that, and it just, the whole average of your day starts to raise up, so you start to enjoy the school day even more. I hope that made sense. Next, we'll talk about relationships. So, it could be a partner. I've had emails from people who are in marriages that feel stuck, or it could be relationships with your children, or whatever the relationships are. When you start to move away from trying to please that person, or trying to work them out, or trying to change them, and when you just focus on you and what you enjoy, and you find your bliss, then what happens is you kind of detach from this codependent entity, and you're just happy. You're just happy. And your partner, or your children, or your husband, or anyone might be looking and thinking, I'm not really sure what's going on, but there's something different here. And they might feel uneasy at first, because you're not doing this little dance trying to make them happy, or they're not, or you're not trying to change them like you normally, and something's different. But because you're giving yourselves the permission just to be happy, just for the sake of your own happiness, then it gives them permission to do what they want to do as well, and find their own happiness. It just creates this space between you, and life is so much more better when it's full of relationships between people who are free and doing what they enjoy doing, and don't need each other, but love the fun of being together and doing some things together. But then they go off and do their own things, and then come back and share their ideas, and that's so much more fulfilling, and it can really save relationships that seem doomed when you start to just find a personal joy and play the forgotten game, because it just breathes that, it gives a breath of fresh air into everything and space. So that's something about relationships. And chores and in the home. Okay, two things about the home. One is household chores. Yes, we have to do them. I'm looking around and I've got washing up to do and things like that. I've got something to fix on my bike, and I'm doing this video at the same time, and I'm not doing them. So it's up to me not to feel like, oh, I can't play the forgotten game now, I can't play the game now because I hate fixing my bike. Or I can think, okay, I'm gonna do this now because I'm getting the impulse to do it, and I'm going to play music while I do it. I'm going to put some of my favourite songs on because that feels like a good thing to do. And or if I'm washing up, I'm just gonna, as I move from one room to the other, I'm just gonna turn the tap on and put all the stuff in, and then that'll soak, and then I'll go and do something else. And then later it's already soaked, so it's easy to wash up. There are ways to do things that make them more fun and make them easier. And a quick thing about the TV is that if we're sat watching TV all night, I feel that there is an impulse at some point that stops enjoying this. And the Forgotten Game is all about just noticing how you're feeling and making sure that you're enjoying things in each moment. And if you're starting to not enjoy the TV, you're feeling restless or you're feeling bored and stuff, just try turning it off and doing something else. There's nothing wrong with TV as it is, really, but when you're watching it all evening, you're probably ignoring impulses that are telling you to get up and move around, because it feels good to do that. It doesn't feel good to sit and zone out for the whole evening or the whole day. So just be really aware when you're watching. Play the Forgotten Game as you're watching. I'm enjoying the comfort of this. I'm enjoying what I'm watching. I'm not enjoying this. Okay, what would I enjoy? I'm getting the intuition to enjoy this. And it just gives you a bit more freedom from being sucked in. So that's a rough idea of some tips. I've done lots of different videos on all sorts of things, so you can look at them. I know I'm rambling. I know this is a very rambly sort of book, but it's just a bit of fun for me to make it. I hope there's been some insights in it for you. Bye.
Just a ride, it's just a ride. Don't be scared now, dry your eyes.